Hi guys, I'm Ashlyn.
And I'm Blake, and welcome back to the Suburban Black Girl Podcast. Cheers.
You guys been watching us for a while, or maybe potentially since the beginning. We kind of closed out last year with just setting some of our goals and intentions for 2025. And so, this episode, we just kind of want to reflect on some of the things that we wanted to achieve and manifest for 2025. So, this episode is about the good, the bad, and becoming, and just talking about our intentions for 2026 and reflecting on this past year.
Period. It was a fast year. I can't believe it's been a year. Jesus.
I know.
Time has flown.
Time has flown, literally. I don't know, how could you describe 2025 in one word?
In one word, maybe surprising. Or, you know what? No, unanticipated.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
That's a fair one.
Yeah. I thought certain things would go one way and they didn't. That doesn't mean that it was a bad thing. It's just not what I foresaw.
Right.
No,
I totally agree with that. I think this year was a lot of things that I didn't expect to happen, whether it was good or bad. And it's kind of like, whoa, there's so much that can happen in a year. And even though you think and want things to go a certain way, that obviously just doesn't always happen. I think if I could describe this year in a nutshell, it would just be adjusting. But I think in a sense of just adjusting to just the constant change that I was going through, just the different battles I was facing, learning how to juggle different things, taking on new things, etc. And just a lot of big changes this year. So I think there were a lot of adjustments this year that I honestly wasn't prepared for, nor am still ready for. But, I'm still finding my way and adjusting to the changes.
If I had to choose another word too, it would just be busy. I feel like this was probably the busiest year of my life. Definitely not a lot of free time like I used to have.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. I'm really big on my sleep. And so I really tried to get an average of 8 hours. And I didn't get a lot of 8-hour sleeps this year.
Yeah.
Especially on the weekends, right? Typically we film the podcast on the weekends.
Right.
So a lot of times it's we really don't have days off.
Yeah.
So I agree with that. I'm guess I'll rest when I'm dead.
I feel like I used to be a big napper. I don't nap
really
nearly as much as I used to at all. I think because I might physically be tired, but my brain is just way too wired to actually rest.
That's me. That's me. My eyes will be closed, but it's my brain is going and it's girl, just get up.
Literally.
Especially the days when you try to sleep in, right? It's I'm going to sleep in. And you just toss and turn in your bed back and forth. And it's you know what? Let me just get up.
Yeah, because at this point, it's this is not working.
Right. Right. So let's reflect on our wins. What was your biggest win of 2025? Emotionally, financially, professionally, or personally? I would say I have, I would say that I have two, to be fair. I would say first, I know one of the goals that I had for myself for last year was really kind of stepping into my own thing and, working on my own marketing agency. And so I would say financially, that was a win for me this year as far as, taking on more clients, bigger contracts. And I really started to see more of the fruits of my labor that I had been putting in the prior year. I feel like the first year of kind of starting your business, you're just happy to have a client. So, I was taking pennies, to be honest, but that's because I needed the experience. You know what I mean? But now that I'm, more experienced, I'm first of all, I'm now with as busy as I am. I'm if it doesn't make money, it's not making sense. So it's I can't take on the client if it's just not making sense financially. I'm good on that. So I would say that. And personally, this year, I found a man. So I think that was a huge win for me. Just because I honestly have not had a real true boyfriend in years. And it's been a long time coming. And so I would say for me, that's a huge goal for me personally, because, I've been manifesting a man and wanting kids and marriage one day. And so I think for it to come this year, I was surprised. I didn't see it for myself because I was just living my best single life. I was outside. And we met outside, and that's even funnier. So I think it was an interesting year just with that, because it's definitely not something that you expect.
Mm-hmm. As they say, it happens when you least expect it. Yeah.
I thought the girls were lying about it until it came to me. I said, oh.
Yeah. And this might sound weird, but I think my agility and my ability to constantly reflect and then pivot quickly or adjust quickly, right? Because at the end of last year, I started a new job, and then boom, January 2nd, we come back to the office and they fired my boss. And to be honest,
that early in the year,
literally the first day back after Christmas break. And to be honest, I feel like that kind of set the tone for the rest of the year, because I obviously got more work and more responsibility, and that kind of immediately adjusted my ability to work on my goals for the rest of the year.
Yeah.
Because I had to take on more with work, and then come July, they still had not replaced my boss. And then the person I was reporting into left. And so from July till now, I've really been drowning in work. Mm-hmm. And that has, completely taken away my energy into all of the things that I said that I wanted to do this year. But to me, what's a win is that I took all of it on the chin and welcomed it and worked hard and grew a lot.
Yeah.
There's a difference between casually just dipping your toe into things and then swimming in the shallow end. By the end of the year, I literally I had to just jump into the deep end.
Yeah.
And I've learned a lot. Ultimately, yeah. And I say the win is me being agile, because I know when to welcome the challenge and take it on, and then when to move on when it's no longer serving me.
Yeah.
And so really I think we had very different years, because a lot of the things that you manifested for yourself came true. Whereas for me, it really put into perspective kind of what's important and things that I already knew, but it's taught me to have better boundaries.
Yeah.
Because I've worked so hard that then all of these other things that I wanted to do this year kind of fell by the wayside. And the lesson literally this past week was learning how to say no, or this no longer aligns with me. So I'm proud of myself for taking it on and being agile and welcoming challenges.
Yeah.
But also knowing my worth and knowing when to say no.
No, I'm right there with you. Because honestly, you saying that was me literally a year ago and some change. You know, I was in a position at work where I was at a company that was just completely drowning me in work, to where I didn't have any energy to even work out. And damn sure not energy to do a podcast or, do my other stuff that I want to do, as far as focus on my side endeavors. And so I know exactly how you feel. That's the hardest thing, when it's I literally only have time for work. Mm-hmm. But it definitely takes time. It took me some time, and I'm glad I've been able to pour back into myself this year. And it's definitely been obviously a year for you, but a learning lesson. And I definitely know 2026 will look a lot different.
Yeah. And I'll say the biggest win would be staying consistent here.
Yes, let's talk about it.
Despite the craziness, because pushing through and still showing up here for this podcast every week, despite some days feeling good, some days feeling exhausted, some days we've been this is the last thing we feel like doing today.
Yeah.
But I say proud of my agility and pivoting, because, we've adjusted how we film this podcast in a way that makes a little bit more sense for our energy levels and things like that. So just constantly pivoting. It's how can you how can you make lemons out of lemonade? Every time a problem arises or whatever, it's I'll allow myself to feel it, and I'll have a woe is me moment, or whatever day, whatever it is, a week, whatever you need. And then after that, you get yourself together and you say, okay, what is God trying to teach me in this moment? The universe, whatever you believe in, trying to teach me in this moment. And how can I use this challenge to my advantage? And so for me, action relieves anxiety. And that's something that I've been very good at this year, is not sitting in it too long and just like being solution based and like finding the balance of still allowing myself to acknowledge my feelings, right? Because some people are so, all right, well, it doesn't matter how I feel about it. What am I going to do about it? And yes, but at the same time, like acknowledge your feelings and sit in them and then pick yourself up and be like, okay, how are we going to pivot here? And what matters most? So.
No, exactly. And that's the thing, you know, I think we talk about it often where it's like a lot of people don't have the courage to pivot, to move, to change, to grow. So, you know, you're part of the 1%, honestly. And I think it's huge, you know, when you recognize something and realize that an environment no longer is serving you. And like I was saying before, you know, there's times where you've prayed to be in this environment and you've fasted and you've cut things off and you've put in the time and you've put in the work. And sometimes that environment that you've been longing for and thought was the one, it just sometimes it's not. And that's totally okay. It's a part of the journey. And, you know, I love that because for me, sometimes it's like I love to see that I've gone through a place or a thing or whatever and thought that I wanted it. And it's like, I'm glad that God showed me what I thought I wanted. Honestly, I don't need it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's all a part of the journey. What's one thing that went way better than expected for you this year? Wait, please.
I'm really trying to think.
This is the positive section.
I really can't think of a single solitary thing. I'm not going to lie.
I think one thing that, you know, went way better than expected for me was, I know there was one thing I was really interested in trying was like getting more into like the hot yoga and stuff like that, which is really out my comfort zone because I was just more of a weight training girly before. And I fell in love with hot yoga. So now I'm doing like hot bar, hot Pilates, hot yoga, like hot anything, I'm doing it. So I think that's one thing for me where it's like my health and wellness journey has grown exponentially this year. And, you know, now I'm working out a lot more, but to be honest with you, it's to relieve my stress. And I'm learning how much better it makes me feel after I get a good workout in. So I'm proud of myself for really growing in that area and kind of just leaving my old trainer and gym that I used to go to and stepping out into a new environment and not looking back. So, you know, that was huge for me because sometimes you kind of get stuck in your gym family and the people you work out with and your trainer. And it just wasn't making sense anymore with my schedule, financially, and just time. So I am proud of myself in that sense. So health and wellness for sure.
I think something that was surprising because I guess I didn't really, like I believed in us doing this, right? But I don't think I expected a lot of the comments that we get about people like feeling seen or, you know, how much we've helped them. I think that, I expected like to work hard at this and it be a good positive thing. But I don't think I expected the purpose that would come of this at all.
That is true. That is true. Like, I do think, you know, I knew we would impact people, but I think the amount of beautiful comments, emails, DMs, comments that we receive very often, I'm like, wow. You know, so it does feel good.
I didnn't anticipate that at all. I don't really know, looking back, what I did anticipate because it's our first time here.
No, literally.
But I think that has been very heartwarming and unexpected. So I would say that. We talk all the time about living in your purpose and how people often don't know what that looks like for them. And I guess I didn't expect the amount of confirmation because to me, every time we get those comments, it's confirmation. You're doing something positive with your life. You're doing something you're supposed to be doing and you're living in your purpose. And I don't think I think that that's also a win for this year too, is
that's true.
Being consistent with this every week means I was consistently living in my purpose every week.
Yeah.
And that's a win.
It is, you know, because living in your purpose, that's the ultimate American dream, right?
Not American.
It's my American dream. Guess let me not speak for the others. Because listen, my American dream is my purpose, not corporate America.
Facts. No. Oh, okay. I see what you're saying. Like entrepreneurial. slash living in your purpose entrepreneurial wise.
Like I'm being funny because, they always say, the American dream.
Oh, yeah, working a 9 to 5. Oh,
yeah. So I'm like, nah, my American dream is absolutely chasing my purpose, living in my purpose. So that's what I meant by that.
Agree.
Apologies. Sometimes I don't be provided the context. It's just...
I was like, what's the correlation, like, to America specifically?
I cannot. No, that's what I meant. All right, let's talk about the lows and the lows of what we usually don't talk about. So what do you think was one of the hardest lessons that 2025 taught you?
Things are just not going to happen as fast as you hope. At least for me. Everybody's different. But I think you end the year, you write down all of these goals, and that doesn't mean that they're going to happen that year, and accepting that can be hard, right?
Yeah.
Like knowing like you're busting your ass and you're like, goodness gracious, when is this going to pay off? The realization that the weight of your blessing determines the weight of your blessing.
Talk about it.
And really accepting that was a lesson this year.
Yeah. No, that's fair because it's funny you say that. I was just, like I always talk about, I'm big on my vision boards. Mm-hmm. And so I was looking at some of my old vision boards and from like the previous years. And some of the things that I put on my vision boards years ago just now came into fruition this year. And so, like there's times where I'm like, I'm going to get this year. I'm going to accomplish it this year. And it's like, God's like, nope. This seed is going to grow for some time. But, I do agree, like the longer the wait, the bigger the blessing. Mm-hmm. And in my opinion, it's like the longevity of the blessing. So, I'm good on things when it takes some time because I'm like, you know what? That means it's for me and it won't leave me.
I feel very blessed, but I'm not a lucky person, if that makes sense. Mm-hmm. You know what I feel like sometimes people start things and it like pops off immediately or whatever. Like that has never been my experience in life. Like everything has been this planting a seed and it paying off years later. And somehow I'm just now accepting it.
Yeah.
But it really hit home this year that it's like, no, everything that you will achieve just comes from planting a seed and showing up every day and watering it for years and years and years before it really grows. No, and I say I'm not lucky because that is the case for some people.
Right. But people from the outside looking in would be like, what? You are lucky.
Yeah. But I'm blessed.
Right.
But that's why I say lucky, quote unquote. Mm-hmm.
No, I feel you on that. Like sometimes I'm like, I'm clearly one of God's strongest soldiers. Because sometimes I agree. Like some people get stuff and I'm like, huh?
Yeah.
When it takes me so long, I have to sacrifice and fast and deprive myself to get certain things. And I'm like, and they just woke up and got it? Like, huh? Mm-hmm. But I agree right there with you. I'm like, you know what? Maybe this is the cost of being a good person.
Well, and that too, because you really do sometimes look around and you're like, that person is terrible. Why do they continue to succeed? Yeah, selfish people really do get ahead.
Right. But you know what someone told me? And I'm like, you know what? And they told me this recently. And I'm like, I do believe it. They're like, some of these successful people on earth are the people that we think are living the life and getting everything on earth. They will not be the ones that are on top and living for eternity when it's all said and done. Like those that didn't have the most and weren't the most and didn't achieve the most will be the ones that will be happy for eternity. And those that were successful here on earth, they may not all be that for eternity.
And I'm a big believer in that. Like the energy that you put out into the world may not, one, it's always going to come back to you.
Right.
But it may not be immediately. It may be years and years and years from now. It may not even be in this lifetime, but it will come back to you. And same thing vice versa. It's like you put good energy out into the world and it will take a while to come back to you sometimes. But the same thing with the bad energy. I feel like people reap what they sow. It just does not always happen instantly.
No, exactly. And it's like eventually karma does come back, even though sometimes it takes longer than others. But that's why I'm like, the days where it feels hard, it's like, girl, just keep pushing. Your story's still being written.
One foot in front of the other, one day at a time.
Was there a moment this year that humbled you in a way that you didn't see coming?
Well, I did not get into a relationship this year, but I got into a relationship, well, I guess technically in January, but yeah, I guess so, technically this year-ish. But humbled in the sense of I'm very good at seeing things from another person's perspective, but there's always something to learn. Somebody's needs just may be different than like what you would anticipate. You know, the whole love languages thing, right? Like just because you think you're doing the right thing doesn't mean that that's how someone like wants to receive love or they want their feelings acknowledged or whatever the case may be. So that can be humbling because it's like you're not doing anything wrong, but that person might just like need something that looks a little bit different.
Yeah, because I do think the right man will come in your life and kind of be like, hey, nah. Like, let's really talk. I think because, to be honest with you, I think me being an only child and the way my parents have done a lot for me, I think my boyfriend definitely gives me a perspective of life just because, to be honest with you, me being a suburban girl, he came from a completely different upbringing. And so the way that he talks to me sometimes and the way he kind of teaches me certain things, it definitely is humbling in a sense because there's ways, unfortunately, where my perspective is so far from what he's thinking. And I'm like, wow, like, thank you for kind of like bringing me back to reality, to be honest with you, because I do see things differently just based on my upbringing. I think the right person can kind of humble you, but in the right way. And so I think I've definitely been humbled in my relationship for sure, in areas where sometimes I'm kind of living in like la la land. But that's just me. Like, I don't know. I'm kind of like this big dreamer at times and a little unrealistic. Like, that's just true. So there's ways where it's like, hey, not right now. Like, that's, you're talking some big stuff right now. I'm like, but why not?
Yeah.
Why not now? I'm a why not now type of person, you know? And it's like, it's never that it can't happen. It's just not going to happen right now.
I think also just gaining a different perspective this year on, for me, like what's really important. I was like, you know, I want to keep having a remote job so I can just work hard and have money and buy whatever I want and go wherever I want. And I do want that type of life. But at the same time, it's not just about making more money to just buy more things and have like a fabulous life. It's more having the money to, or being in the position to be free.
Yeah.
And that I've like felt that shift this year on the more you can like make money but save it and have your money work for you, the better your chances are of being free, being financially free, right? And not being stuck in like the 9-to-5 cycle or, you know, whatever the case may be. So I think getting that perspective was humbling this year because I've always wanted to work hard. I've always wanted to be successful, but really like if you have to choose between constantly having to work hard to have nice things or just at any moment being able to say F you, you know, to your job and being like financially free in that way. It's like, well, that's what I'm going to choose, you know?
Yeah. No, I totally agree with you on that. That's why I just kind of decided where I was like, I'm no longer going to strive to climb the corporate ladder. Like I'm going to give enough to keep a job, but I'm only going to give so much. That way I can pour into the things that I genuinely want to, as far as like things that make me happy, that are my purpose and my passion. So I totally agree with that because it's just like I start to see myself pouring more into work to where it's like, well, what about me? And so now I feel like I found a better balance of that to where it's like I can give enough to work to where they're not looking for me or checking for me enough to where I still have time to like pour into the things that I want to and eventually say, F that 9-to-5. You know what I mean? Just because I'm still in the office, unfortunately, most of the week. And so I don't really feel like I have a lot of time to kind of get away from just being in an office. So I'm working towards just being able to wake up and live life how I want to. Like, I don't mind working hard, but working hard on like what I want
on
to
your
do.
time.
Right.
Yeah.
And on my time.
Agree.
You know what I mean? It's never enough PTO. And like we say, the higher you climb, even when you're on PTO, they still calling for you. It's like, are you kidding me right now?
Yeah.
Get somebody else to do it.
Prepare the others.
Prepare the others. Let's get into not a win, not a loss, but just life. What's one thing this year that you wish you enjoyed more instead of rushing through it? I'll say this year for me, one thing I wish I would have spent more time on is honestly spending more time with myself. I don't think I got a lot of time to spend with myself this year. I do believe I gave a lot of time to so many other things, but just because it's like my plate is full, so it was really hard to make time for myself. And I do try, right? But I think we always would love to make more time for ourselves. It's just kind of like, let's be honest. I think once you kind of transition into being in a relationship, you really lose a lot of that free time you once had. And so I think there's moments where I love being around my partner, but I don't really have as much free time and quality time and personal time that I used to have. And I think, we talk about being an only child. And so there's times where I just love to be by myself. And I love my peoples, but, I definitely would say I didn't have as much me time this year.
Yeah, it's crucial. Yeah. It's crucial, as I've said.
What's something that you did for the very first time in 2025?
Probably just traveling places. First time I went to Barbados. First time I went to Turks. First time I went to Chicago. Dang, yeah. Yeah.
That's true, right?
Yeah.
Damn, Chicago seemed like last year. What a year we've had, man.
Seriously.
I was like, oh yeah, we did go to Chicago.
Yeah.
This year.
Yeah.
That was really fun. No, same here. Yeah, that was my first time in Chi-Town. I would say a first time for me, and it's something that we talked about last year this time, was me starting therapy.
Oh, yeah.
So this is like my first year of being in therapy. So I'm proud of myself in that because I've been fighting it for some time, for years. I really have. Well, I was one of those where it's like, I'm not ready yet or I don't need it. But to be honest with you, my job offered 8 free sessions.
Yeah, it was like, hello, here you go.
Literally.
Couldn't ignore it.
Literally. So it's like, why not try it? So I'm proud of myself for doing it. And I've been consistent with going all year. And I've learned a lot about myself. And to be honest with you, creating boundaries for myself. And I think it's helped me a lot. It's helped me grow a lot. And especially it's helped me learn more about who I am, but also how to adjust and kind of categorize my friendships and relationships in my life. And to be honest with you, becoming more selfish with myself.
Yeah.
I was too much of a giver.
Yeah. Taking care of yourself first. That's something my therapist always says is take care of yourself.
I love that.
Yeah. It's
easier said than done, right?
Exactly. Yeah. Because it can feel, I think when your brain is just wired, or maybe you've been conditioned over the years, whatever it is, to feel like doing that is selfish, then once you start trying to break that down and take care of yourself, you realize that it's not selfish, but you have to you feel like this level of guilt.
Right.
But you have to work through that. And that can be hard.
Yeah. What routine or mindset did you fall out of that you're bringing back for 2026?
I definitely did not journal as much as I used to. And I would really like to get back to that. I used to have my tea in the morning, work out in the morning, and journal, those 3 things all before I even started work. And so I definitely want to get back to that.
Sounds nice.
Yeah. I have a treadmill now at home and a couple of weights. So yeah, I'm looking forward to having a healthier morning routine because definitely the past couple months, I've literally been shooting out of bed and getting on my laptop, without even allowing myself to do anything to pour into myself before I pour into this job. So that would definitely be something I want to get back to.
Yeah, I love that. I'm big on starting a day with me. So any way I can, I love to do that. So I feel like that's just the perfect way to just start a morning, start a week. I used to feel so much better when I would do that in the morning.
Yeah. It sets the tone for the whole day.
Yeah.
And the fact that I've gotten out of that explains why I have the days that I have.
Please stop. I think, there's something that I do want to pick up more in my routine is honestly learning how to cook more.
Same.
I really want to try more because I do the basics, I'm a meal prep girly, so I can cook the basic meal preps at home, but I do want to expand my horizons and kind of get more in the kitchen, kind of pull out a recipe.
Yeah.
Cut up the onions, the tomatoes, dice up the garlic. I want to just do it all. But to be honest with you, just haven't had the time. You know, I don't have the energy after work once the day is done. So that's something that I want to do more. And I've been telling myself at least like once a week, if I could make myself a nice, good homemade meal, at least once a week, it would be nice. So it's definitely something I want to try. Yeah. Just, I'm hoping I can do it.
I feel like I like baking more than cooking. I think that's why I like, yeah, but even just like anything, I don't know, mac and cheese, whatever, like, I think I enjoy baking more than cooking, but yeah, I'd love to learn more things that I could maybe start baking.
Yeah, I love that. I love a good little, it just seems, I don't know, a little therapeutic.
Yeah, and I do love a good chocolate chip cookie, so I definitely want for the first time to try to make it from scratch. Like I've seen so many good TikTok recipes, so I want to try that one time.
Yeah. Okay, so let's get into what our 2026 intentions are and how are you becoming her? What's your one word or your theme for 2026?
Pouring back into me, because I do feel like I spent a lot of time pouring into other things for this entire year, like especially work. Leaning in more on things that give me purpose and making sure that that stays at the top of the priority list and not allowing things that take away from that to consume my energy. Everything, all of the intentions that I set for 2025, wanting to stay in the gym and staying on my own content and all of that, like all of that fell off because I was pouring into other things.
Yeah.
When those are the things that more so will make me feel good or give me longevity health-wise or make me feel fulfilled and living in purpose. And yeah, it's like I said, January 2nd, it felt like there was just like this, here's all these intentions that you have, and I'm just going to throw you this massive curveball.
Listen, it'd be like that sometimes.
Yeah. So pouring back into me, getting back into routines that I had, all of that.
We always have intentions, but there's things that kind of set you off course. But I think the biggest thing is always just, learning from it, seeing like what could I have changed, what could have been different, and then you pivot as you're doing, right? Like you've acknowledged it and you're pushing forward. So I think that's all that matters. I'm just really, my focus for 2026, I think, is just, building my future as far as just what do I want life to look like for me in the future, so what steps do I need to take to get there? So I'm really honing in on my circle, what I'm spending my time on, my energy on, what I'm pouring into, teaching myself new things that'll help me in my future and can help me just get to where I want to go. And I would say that, I do see a lot more for myself in the next few years. And so just kind of continuing to build on what that looks like and coming to a place of just rest eventually, in a sense of like, whoo, I finally gotten to where I need to go and want to be. Because right now I just feel like I'm grinding it out and I can't wait to wake up and be on my time and not someone else's. So that's really what I'm working on and have been working on, but just pushing through it every day and figuring it out as I go.
Another thing too is being better at, I would say, delegating and asking for help.
It's a big one.
Because that's part of the reason why I was so overwhelmed this year, was too much on my plate and not being willing to really take anything off.
Yeah.
And the things I did take off were things that were important to me.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So being better about delegating and relinquishing control of some things so that I can have the energy to work on things that really are important to me.
Yeah.
Because it can be hard to let go of control of, certain things or trust people to help you.
No, that's always hard. Even, let's be honest, with the podcast, right? We do kind of everything ourselves. And so I'm proud of you for being like, you know what? I'm ready to relinquish and kind of give some of those things up.
Yeah.
I think that's important, especially with growth. So that's huge because it is hard. I think as Black women, like we always say, it's very hard for us to ask for help. Or if someone says, hey, can I get you something? It's hard for us to be like, oh, no, I'm good. Yeah. Even though it's like, ask me one more time. I promise you I'll say yes.
Yeah, literally. And that's what happens is like, if they ask a second time, I'm like, no. And they have to, if they do by chance ask a third time, I'm like, well, actually.
Yeah. But that's a big one.
Yeah.
That's a big one. Mm-hmm. It's funny you say that. Like, I think even for me in the workplace, I was so big on like, I don't want to ask for help. Like, I want to feel like I know what I'm doing. Now I ask about everything. I'm like, I don't care. I'm going to ask.
Yeah.
And that was something that I had to really tell myself, because it's like, you know, you always feel as though, oh, they hired me for this position. I should know what I'm talking about. I should know what I'm doing. And it's like, no, I think the work environment I work in, we all ask each other for help or just advice or insight. And so I think it's really opened the floor to me feeling as though, okay, they don't feel like I'm inadequate or incapable of my job because I'm asking.
Right.
So I'm loving that I'm in an environment that, you know, we help each other get better. What's one thing you're not bringing with you into 2026?
You know, I've gotten so much better with boundaries over the years in a personal way, but I needed to get better about maintaining boundaries in a professional way. And I did not do a very good job of that this year. And so I'll leave that behind. Just straight up like being vocal and disagreeing.
There's times where it's like hard to feel confident in yourself at work.
Mm-hmm.
One thing for me I'm not bringing into 2026 that I've kind of already started to leave behind is just people that are really not good for me. People show you who they are and they may apologize to you and portray themselves to be a better person. But once you've kind of already rubbed me wrong once, or you've done something where it just wasn't right, I'm just kind of like leaving you where you're at. And so I've definitely have not circled back on certain relationships I had in my life as closely. I've definitely created some distance from certain people in my life that I was really close with, honestly. It's no love lost. It's just kind of like you definitely tried to play. And I'm not really dealing with anyone that I feel like truly doesn't have my best interest at heart. So I would say in 2026, just leaving people that are not good for me, honestly, and respectfully.
And respectfully.
That's it, part. Well, this has been nice. I guess we can close it out with a little mantra moment.
Let's do a lovely mantra. Please bring us into 2026.
Please.
Positively.
Please. I honor the woman I was, celebrate the woman I am, and I trust the woman I'm becoming.
Amen. And I like that it starts off with honor the woman I was.
Yes.
Because you don't have to like live with regrets or be hard on yourself. Everything is a lesson and everything happens for a reason. So I like, to me, honoring who I was means like living in your truth. Like, yeah, that did happen. Yeah, I could have been better at that. Yeah, I lacked boundaries in that moment. Or yeah, I stayed at that job too long. Or yeah, I stayed in that relationship too long, whatever the case may be. Or yeah, I lost sight of things that were important, whatever it was. Respect that it happened.
Yeah.
Take what you learned from it. And like I said earlier, you make the lemons out of the lemonade.
There's times where we're disappointed in ourselves and mad or things that we've been through or accepted, etc. And so I love that, because we do need to honor ourselves as women in all stages of life, because that's a part of becoming her.
All right, guys. Many blessings going into this new year. Yeah. If you've been watching us all year, thank you so much for tuning in. Please don't forget to comment, like, subscribe, follow us on all platforms at Suburban Black Girl Pod. Email us at suburbanblackgirlpod@gmail.com. Let us know what you want to hear from us in this new year, please. And yeah, comment some of your goals going into this new year, and let's achieve them all together. God willing.
God willing. Amen.
Amen. All right. Happy New Year to you all. Thank you.